Hey everyone, it's your professional sarcastic man and seeker of attention, Oz Chris here with a rant video. You know me, or if you don't know already, I don't like to talk about the drama. There's a lot of it. We already have a lot of people on this, the whole Comicsgate side talking about the drama. You have Diversity in Comics, you have Captain Cummings, Yellow Flash, that Umbrella Guy, Weaponized Nerd Rage, all of that. And for the majority, for most of what they say, I agree on the drama that they talk about. So when I started my channel, I felt like I don't really need to talk about it. I'd rather talk about comic books and manga and all that, because we have enough of the drama. We have enough of the big players talking about the drama, and it just feels like I would be repeating what they are saying, so I never saw the need of it. But if there was something I wanted to get my opinion on, I would definitely put it up, and that will be it. And in this situation, the whole Comicstorian and Comics Explained situation, I definitely wanted to get my thoughts out on this. So on a live stream, Comicstorian called Comicsgate's idiots. He said Comicsgate idiots, and you would say, well, Comicsgate gets a lot of shit already. There've been worse words than idiot being used. The thing is, Comicstorian has gone on record saying that he is neutral to everything that's going on. He's in the center. He's sitting on the fence. He doesn't want to take either side. So just going out and saying Comicsgate idiots seems like you're going to one side. But the main problem is how he kind of reacted, his response to Douglas Ernst tweeting about this, and he just goes, "Speaking to you is a waste of time. I can find a more intelligent argument in a preschool." To which Doug replies, "Good one, Benny. You know darn well that I'd clean your clock in a Comicsgate debate. It's funny you should mention preschool, given that you're the one who tells the YouTube equivalent of bedtime stories." Oh, Doug, slam dunk. I have no idea why I didn't like this before. I'm going to do it now. That is a slam dunk. Good on you, Doug. So, in this response, Comicstorian is trying to play the I'm of the higher intellect, hence why it'd be if I were to debate you, it would be a waste of my time. But anyone with actual intelligence, not Comicstorian level of intelligence, could easily in two ways flip what he just said. So, speaking to you is a waste of time. I can find a more intelligent argument in a preschool. Comicstorian, you can find a more intelligent argument in a preschool because you have preschool level intellect. That's why you can find a better, more intelligent argument, because you can only find an argument of your same intelligence. See, that's one way, you could twist that. The other is, why the hell are you hanging out in a preschool? That's weird. That's weird. Why are you hanging out in a preschool? I'm very concerned, as should a lot of people. And he hasn't. I think that's his only reply to that. It's just, speaking to you is a waste of time. You can't any civil debate argument conversation. If it's not Edwin Boyette, you can go to Doug for that. Doug definitely tries to keep it civil. If you have personal beef, as he says, keep it off of Twitter. Settle it in private, so you don't have everyone taking sides. Which I agree, definitely. Just a lot of those one-day dramas, it doesn't really need to happen. So, but just Comicstorian just out of the blue, just oh yes, I'm neutral, but You on that side, you're all idiots. But then John Malin got into the discussion, and another comic book YouTuber, Comics Explained, decided to pitch in. So John said, I would be happy to represent Comicsgate idiots in a live stream with Comicstorian and Comics Explained for a full discussion regarding Comicsgate and the state of the industry. If they would like to have a serious conversation, I'll follow you both so either can DM. That's civil. It's just like, hey, you guys want to talk about this? You want to chat? I'd be open for it if you want. You know, we can just talk about it. We don't have to have this Twitter back and forth just insulting each other. You know, hash it out in a civil way. But then Comics Explained comes in, hits him with the, I would debate you, but I saw you in the letters pages during Clone Saga and on forums during One More Day, Brand New Day, the death of Captain America, and so on. Your guys' arguments are just as irrelevant now as they were 25 years ago. Oh, Comics Explained hitting him with the rice gum argument. Irrelevant. How is what John's arguments or anyone else's arguments from 25 years ago, how are they irrelevant? How, Rob, are they irrelevant? He doesn't even go to explain why. So that's the first of his responses. Another is he responds to Mizaru. Mizaru says, then you have really no clue what the argument is. Obviously he doesn't. The problems we are having right now are entirely different and much worse than a single failed storyline. Your dismissive attitude from atop your ivory tower is one of those problems. Definitely, just plain ignorance to the matter. There is definitely a problem with the comic book industry right now. Like if there was no problem at all, why are people just adamantly dropping DC, dropping Marvel, deciding to go straight to Indiegogo to support creators instead of buying anything from the big two or from any other publisher? But then Rob replies to Mizaru, no, it's not. It's an attitude based on reading comics for 25 years. You call it the end times for the comic industry. I call it business as usual. Anywho, I'm off to watch Shameless. Rob, you just said that some John's arguments, anyone else that had similar arguments to John, are irrelevant 25 years ago and irrelevant now. I feel like that's something similar here. You can't just say, oh, it's still the same as 25 years. That's also an irrelevant argument. No, comics 25 years ago. Please, anyone who has been reading comics as long as Comics Explained, or even more, please tell me, have comics been the same for the past 25 years? Is it business as usual? No, it's not. 25 years ago, you didn't have comic book pros calling everyone Nazis just because they disagree with them. You didn't have them blocking people or stopping them from seeing anything they talk about just because they follow a certain person. You don't have all these diversity hires and ideology hires. You know, don't have these friggin' young adult authors who don't know how to write. They've never written anything good in their lives. And they're given a series and just allowed to do everything. America, you know, that terrible series. Even piss poor storytelling and piss poor art. Art-wise, I would rather look at a comic book from 25 years ago. Because it is better than the shit that Unbeatable Squirrel Girl is putting out. It's not. You cannot say that it is business as usual. 25 years ago, were Marvel relaunching constantly, year after year after year, to the point where they're not even waiting a year to relaunch. Fresh Start was their latest relaunch. Oh wait, sorry. Line-wide overhaul, not even a year after Legacy started. As shown, you can go look on Comic-Con, the number of units that they sold are terrible after a number one. Number one is a cheap gimmick, just to make it look like this sold well. Everyone knows that. But Marvel, particularly Marvel, loves to do this. To constantly relaunch with a new number one, because they know number ones will always sell, and they add a shit ton of variants to trick people, to trick the customers, the readers. The comic book stores have been closing through the recent years because of this, because they're being tricked into buying all of this. Is like, this is essential. You know, this is definitely going to sell. No, it doesn't. That's where the thick stacks come from, Rob. The comic book industry this is not business as usual. In the past, all I ever hear about when referring to like X-Men or Avengers, anything like that, any of the comics, particularly with Marvel. I'm using Marvel as an example because Marvel is the hugest example of the golden days are gone. The good times are gone from Marvel. There's hardly anything. So I'm using Marvel as the huge example to this. And anyone, if you can back me up on this, please let me know in the comments if what I'm saying is accurate or correct, or if you want to correct me on something. But back in the day, when everyone talks about comics back in the day, everything sold over 30k. If it was under 30k, it was bad. Look at it, look now. Number ones will sell shitloads, as I said, because it's a cheap marketing gimmick. And they trick the LCSs and the readers and the consumers. After that, the numbers drop. It's like, if you're selling or shipping under 12k, under 10k, that is terrible. And companies like Marvel would think, well, we should still publish this. Look at America. America at a point was shipping under 5,000 units. That is terrible. That is absolutely terrible. Anyone with actual intelligence would cancel the hell out of that straight away. Like, this is a lost cause. This is costing us money. Nobody wants it. Get rid of it. And then later, that's his second thing. Like, oh, you know, you call it the end times for the comic industry. I call it business as usual. You are literally that dog meme where he's just sitting, drinking a coffee, and the whole house is on fire. And he's just sitting there saying, this is fine. This statement here, this statement right here is literally that meme. But then he had a third here we go. His third comment is, oh, spicy comment right here. Also, if you're looking to make a name for yourself, try hard work. It looks bad when you ride other people's coattails to success. Rob, you are a YouTuber that talks about comic books. John Malin is an actual comic book pro that has worked at Image, that has worked at Marvel. He's an artist. And he's also on one of the highest successfully funded Indiegogo campaigns for a comic book. Probably just a campaign in general. I don't think he needs you. He's not trying to ride other people's coattails to success. Like, like when he was when he was working at Marvel, Cable, the legacy run of Cable, his art was great. It was amazing. That's definitely one of the best points of that run was Malin's art. I absolutely loved the art. It was great. John Malin doesn't need to make a name for himself. He already has. Especially, like, yeah, John's response. Is this how we begin to have a civil discussion about important issues in our community? Not to Rob. He would rather insult you. And also going back to that whole, you see comic books now as the end times of the industry, and I see it as business as usual. Rob, you see it as business as usual because you're a fucking shill. They pay you to give the opinion that they want, pretty much. I've never seen anyone suck Nick Spencer's dick so much because of Secret Empire. Secret Empire is terrible. I didn't even read Secret Empire, and I know how much of a fucking terrible story that is. Of course you're going to say business is as usual, because you're a shill. You don't have an independent thought to yourself. And also, if you're looking to make a name for yourself, try hard work. It looks bad when you ride other people's coattails to success. So, one of the implication that he's trying to say is that, oh, you're mentioning me. You're just trying to get, followers, viewers, whatever, by talking to me. Rob, you're not that relevant. Let's go over to his YouTube. 1.4 million. That's all right. That's all right. Now, I don't like this whole view thing. It's just like, oh, you only have this certain amount. Like, I can't really talk shit. I only have about like 70 something, but what I put out, the videos, it's just what I want to do. I don't do it because I want to get views. I'm perfectly fine with the amount of subscribers and views I have. You know, they're not just a means to make me famous or eventually get me money. Just, I want to talk about good comics, and I want to talk about bad comics. And if somebody picks up a comic just because I talked about it, that's great. Definitely. Like, I did a review, and I believe, like, it was, somebody said, can you do a review of, like, I'm not going to pick this book up, but can you, the book that you're currently reviewing in this video, but can you do a review of Justice League Dark? I'm thinking about picking it up. Coincidentally, I already had a review for that done. I was just waiting to upload that as public. As I upload everything on the same day. I just put them on private and then wait to release them later on throughout the week. And then I did. And then he said, I liked your review. I'm definitely going to pick this up at the LCS. Good. That's what I definitely like to hear, is that somebody decided to pick up a comic because I talked about it. And I said some good stuff about it. Definitely, that's great. If that's what we need to promote. We need to promote more of the good stuff. You know, there is still, as much as a failure the industry is becoming, there are actually good comic books out there. It's just that a lot of people like to talk about the terrible ones. So, let's see, Rob. Trying to ride other people's coattails to success. So, implying that he is one of these people, implying that, oh, I'm such a huge success, you just want to debate me to get my followers and get my viewers. And like I said, I don't like the whole you only have a certain amount. But considering he thinks he's such a relevant person, Let's see, 1.4 million views. That's good. Yeah, that's good. That's a pretty good number, 1.4 million views. Let's look at these. 6.1k, 30k, 86. I looked in here before. Very rarely will he get something over 200k for views. So, Rob, that sub to view ratio is looking pretty good, isn't it, buddy? Yeah. Yeah, you're so relevant. Wow, and just clickbait. What if Wolverine became a Red Lantern? Who cares? It's Wolverine. He's as much as a fucking badass already without being a Red Lantern. Just you think you have this high image of yourself. Rob, this is just me. I didn't know who you were until I found out about all this Comicsgate stuff. You and Comicstorian. You don't have that much of a freaking reach. So, test it here. Look, if I just put Comicstorian as the second one, then then you've got Ethan, and where are you, Rob? You're so relevant. Where are you, Rob? Jesus Christ, like, this is just dumb. Like, definitely, like, no, Doug, John, hey, if you want a civil discussion, I'm up for it. There's no need to insult people. We can talk about this like adults, actual adults, but no, they decide, let's play the insult their intelligence and relevance card. Essentially. And it's dumb. For a lot of the people I either subscribe or follow, like, I follow people I don't agree with on a lot of issues, but I'm willing to have a discussion. I don't care. If you want to have an actual discussion, I'm up for it. Go for it. Let's talk it out. You both have an interest in comic books. Let's talk about comic books. That's what I'd rather talk about instead of all this drama. But but it doesn't seem like you want to. You just want to you just want to sit in your ivory towers. We're so intelligent, like, we don't need to debate you. We are of the high intelligence levels. We're so smart, like, definitely, Comicstorian just shows it right here. Speaking to you is a waste of my time. I can find a more intelligent argument in a preschool. Whoa, watch out. Definitely, I believe Benny over here is a Rick and Morty watcher. He watches Rick and Morty. I've never seen that much intelligence in my life. Those are Rick and Morty levels of intelligence. Jesus Christ. Well, I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna stop it here. That's it. I just wanted to get my thoughts about it. I didn't think I'd get so angry about it, especially with Rob. Rob's arguments are just dumb. They're just infuriating, and I'm infuriated because I'm infuriated. They're just dumb, but that's it for the video. Leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you haven't, because YouTube is stupid as usual recently. Algorithms and all that. Leave a comment. Follow me on Twitter if you just want to see me post nothing. Maybe some memes. Check out my previous videos if you want, and I will see all of you next time.